Hi there everyone and welcome to TechCravers. Today I'm back with a very exciting product, the Ayaneo Pocket S. This is an absolute powerhouse of a handheld device. In fact, it's the most powerful Android handheld built for gaming out there as of today. It's built around the Snapdragon G3x Gen 2, which theoretically means we can expect some truly remarkable performance on this handheld. And before I give you my first full impression and showcase of this device, I want to let you know that unlike most other handhelds I review on this channel, I bought this device on my own. It wasn't sent to me by Ayaneo for review, so you can trust that I'm being honest with you, and if anything I'll be more nitpicky than usual. Also, I'd like to use the moment to address the fact that this will also be the very last Ayaneo product I will ever buy. And you'll find out why if you continue to watch this video. Now, with that out of the way, let's jump into it. As always with an Ayaneo product, the unboxing experience is quite premium, or at least it feels premium compared to basically all other companies that make Android and Linux based handhelds. The device is much better protected by the box's interior than, for example, the average Ambernic product. And besides the handheld, we get some colorful quick start papers that should be enough to get you going with your new device, and a USB-C to USB-C cable for charging. However, there's no wall adapter included this time. But now let's talk about the device itself. The Ayaneo Pocket S immediately catches the eye with its sleek, elegant design. It boasts a 6-inch borderless IPS mirror touchscreen, available in both 1080p and 1440p resolutions. I have the 1440p or 2K version here, which we'll discuss in more detail later. The overall build quality feels very premium thanks to the CNC aluminum alloy midframe and the 2.5D glass front panel, giving it a luxurious feel, much like any Apple product. It feels quite comfortable in my hands, and it's actually heavier than I expected, though not too heavy. The Pocket S features Hall sensor joysticks and linear Hall triggers, reducing the risk of stick drift and enhancing durability, but that's almost standard nowadays, even among cheaper devices. And since we're speaking of cheaper devices, let's take a look at where you can buy the Pocket S and what it costs. As of today, the only way to buy the Ayaneo Pocket S is through Indiegogo. You select your device or perk from the list and click your way through the order. I ordered my Pocket S on the same day it was released on Indiegogo, April 26th, and I received it last week at the start of June. When I ordered my 1440p Advanced Edition, I got the Indiegogo early bird price of $439. And if that wasn't insane already, the official retail price will be bumped up to $589, which is about $150 more than a Steam Deck. Also add about $30 of DHL shipping fee as well. And if that wasn't enough, my dear country decided to charge me an extra $170 in customs and declaration fees as well. And this, my friends, is why I won't be backing another Ayaneo product ever again. It's simply too expensive for a hardworking hobby YouTuber like yours truly. And I want to emphasize that I know that custom fees are hardly Ayaneo's fault, but their products are already too pricey for the kind of niche handhelds they make, if you ask me. And most people considering to buy a Pocket S are probably wondering how it compares to the current king of this generation, the Odin 2 Pro. In a Geekbench 6 test, I was pretty surprised to see that the Odin 2 actually outperforms the Pocket S in CPU power, both in single-core and multi-core readings. There could be various reasons for this, but my guess is the more refined and effective active cooling system on the Odin 2. The CPUs in these handhelds are actually quite similar, the biggest difference lies on the GPU side, which becomes quite evident in a quick benchmark test in 3D Mark, which measures the GPU power and potential of different devices for 3D graphics, or essentially which device can best handle impressive graphics and performance-demanding games. Here, the Pocket S scores significantly better than the Odin 2, which, once again, isn't surprising. Let's stick with the Odin 2 for a bit longer and measure the physical differences between the Odin 2 and the Pocket S before we move on. And at first glance I was sure the Pocket S had the smallest buttons I had ever seen on a big premium device like this. So imagine my surprise when I realized that the Odin 2 has almost as small face buttons, just a few tenths of a millimeter difference as you can see here, and even smaller joystick caps than the Pocket S. The strange thing is I've never felt that the Odin 2 has small buttons, so I believe it's the combination of the flat back on the Pocket S, the rather poor ergonomic grip and the relatively small buttons that make them feel smaller than they actually are. The D-pad on the Pocket S is good in size and quite a lot bigger than the D-pad on the Odin 2. From the looks alone, it's the type I usually like. However, after using it for a while, I have one major complaint. In a few games it feels like it almost gets stuck in one direction and doesn't allow for smooth switching between directions. For example, if I slide my finger from down to either left or right on the D-pad, it feels like it gets stuck on down. This could become a problem if you play a lot of fighting games or side-scrollers, and I don't have this problem on my Odin 2. The Pocket S was heavier than I thought it would be when I held it in my hands the first time, but it's still quite lightweight compared to the Odin 2, which weighs in at 425 grams. The Pocket S weighs just about 356 or 357 grams. Now, as I mentioned, the front has that big glass panel which looks really sleek, but I would be very scared of dropping this on the ground without the case, or even with the one to be honest. I really like the look of it though, but I'm not sure of the buttons. The white color on the joystick caps, start select buttons, and the Ayaneo buttons doesn't quite match the white color on the Handheld itself. The D-pad and the face buttons have a plastic coating, and the white behind that plastic feels more color accurate. It might be me nitpicking, but I think it slightly diminishes the premium feel. Around the whole device there's an aluminum bar with cutouts for different ports, buttons and fan in and outtakes. This also feels very premium. And underneath the device we find a quite big fan intake, a USB-C port for charging and display out, as well as dual stereo speakers. On the right there's a sliding button which you might think is a power button, but no, this is actually a dedicated button to switch performance modes on the device. I'm not quite sure why they thought it was such an important button, since you can change the performance at any time from the Ayaneo window overlay, and it's not that often that you have to change mode anyway. I would at least have wanted this button to be reprogrammable for something else, but it isn't. On the top we find a big fan exhaust to the right, a microphone and a charging LED, volume buttons and a fingerprint reading power on button which doubles as a sleep button. We also have two buttons called LC and RC, which I suppose can or should be remappable to whatever, but as for now I can't get it to do other things than Android stuff like recent apps or back out. The fingerprint reader is fast and I haven't encountered any issues. The device responds quickly to it and the sleep function hasn't interrupted my gameplay or caused any bugs, at least not yet. But now it's time to talk about some gaming on this device, and first out are a few native Android games which I have installed straight from the Play Store. Turtle Shredder's Revenge looks great, not that I thought it wouldn't, but the pixel graphic on this 2K screen looks more crisp than ever. And apart from the high resolution on this screen, the fact that it's borderless is what really makes it out for me. It looks better than ever before on this device. The next game I want to show you is Genshin Impact, and this game doesn't have native controller support as you might know. Luckily, Ayaneo got us covered there with its easy to use key mapper tool. Simply press the Ayaneo button to bring up the overlay menu and click on controller. From here click on key mapping to enable the tool and then click on go to configuration. From here you can drag and drop different buttons to different parts of the screen and map them to whichever button you want on your device. I won't show you in this video, but let me know in a comment down below if a key mapping tutorial is something that you would like to see in the future. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more content like this in the future. For emulating any old system possible on Android, this device is extremely powerful and can upscale everything you play up to 1080p, 2K or even 4K. And what I mean by actually possible to emulate is that Wii U, for example, does not even have an Android emulator and thus won't be able to play on this device. Nintendo Switch games run great however, or at least those games that run great before Nintendo decided to shut down the Yuzu emulator. But let me tell you this, when we have a suitable Switch emulator again, this device will have no problems playing those games. Anyways, here's Sega Rally on PSP upscaled to 8 times its native resolution, which happens to be 4K. However, the screen is only 1440p or 2K, so keep that in mind while adjusting the settings. Higher resolutions means less battery life, etc. Same with God of War Chains of Olympus, the game runs absolutely perfectly at 4K resolution and at a constant 60 FPS, and this is probably the hardest PSP game out there to emulate. I can't imagine a better way to play your old PSP favorites than on this borderless screen. Your GameCube games will run at 3 times native resolution, meaning 1080p without any hiccups. Some games allow for widescreen hacks to be enabled, and some look decent while played like that, but most don't. So my recommendation is to play it in its native 4:3 aspect ratio, which will give you black borders on the side, but it will still look great. PS2 games on the other hand have widescreen hacks that make them look absolutely amazing on this borderless 2K screen. Here's God of War 2 in 3 times its native resolution and at a constant 60 FPS. If this isn't a portable PlayStation 2 that actually fits in your pocket, then I don't know what is. Playing with this device for a while with PSP and PS2 emulation as my main focus, it actually got me thinking, what if Sony actually decided to go down the handheld way again? With its library of amazing games and history of making amazing hardware, I think it would be something absolutely exceptional. And while I let you watch this YouTube video of the Super Mario Bros. Wonder intro screen, I'd also like to say thank you for watching this video. The Ayaneo Pocket S is a very cool, super powerful and luxurious product that I can only recommend to those interested in the very best that handheld Android gaming can deliver on the performance side. It's definitely not perfect and it's way too overpriced, but at the same time it's also the most ready to use high-end device for emulation on Android straight out of the box. Not a single game had to be tweaked in any way, everything just ran great in way higher resolution than ever intended for that game. And as I said, this will also be the last Ayaneo product that I ever buy by myself, so if you enjoyed this video, please show some love by giving it a like and comment down below what you think of premium high-end devices like this Ayaneo Pocket S. Also, don't forget to subscribe to TechCravers for more content like this in the future. Catch you in the next one. TechCravers out.